We're going to talk about marriage. And there are elements of a bad marriage. And the question becomes, will you have time to save it? Now, as a marriage is formed, and as people are in these marriages, marriage constitutes a journey. And God designed marriage to be a stretch, a way, something that was part of His design on purpose. And when two people are in a marriage, they go through a variety of emotions, these feelings, and these challenges that they face within this relationship. And there are things that will cause a disruption of that marriage. When there when there is trust that has been broken, that is an element that will lead to a bad marriage. When there is abuse, that's another element that will lead to a bad marriage. Infidelity, financial hardship, the lack of family support, the lack of commitment, health concerns or circumstances that can change a person's physical condition. So there are a series of elements that can create a bad marriage. What are you going to do about your marriage? You've had multiple conversations with your spouse. You've talked to family. You've talked to your friends. You have prayed for this situation to improve. But your marriage is still an idle. It's stagnant. And you don't know which way to change the trajectory of this relationship. You're questioning, should you break this bond? Should you disrupt your family? Should you rip apart the love that you created in this marriage? God wants you to think about this relationship. He wants you to be committed through His Word. In the book of the Old Testament, and also even in the New Testament, when God defined marriage, He correlated or put in comparison to someone leaving the bond of their parents and clinging to their wife to form this new oneness of a relationship. And He said, what I have joined, let no man separate. That means children, friends, families, co-workers, people in this world that may influence someone leaving their marriage. So contemplate about the need to deal with your marriage. And there will be times where you need to give it to God. You need to take a step back. As your spouse is not where you are. Now, that doesn't mean that your spouse does not love you. It just means that their mental, emotional, physical, and even their spiritual foundation is not aligned with you. And there are those who don't go through the motions of their marriage. And they're thinking that with all of these problems, these elements of their marriages, it's best to walk away. It's best to be free and to start over. And there are those who have gone through this process only to find out that it's worse going outside and splitting the very relationship that God created on purpose. Don't give up on your marriage. Don't lose hope. Latch on to faith to lead to obedience. And allow the Lord to work in your marriage. Allow Him to guide you in this relationship. Let Him lead you to the journey of everlasting life. There will be some marriages that cannot be saved in time. As the spouse that will not come back to this commitment, they want to leave. And there's nothing that you can say or do that will change their minds in this relationship. But you need to allow the Lord to guide you so that if this marriage does sever, you have done everything within your power through God, giving you the hand to guide you through this difficult time. But more often than not, a marriage can be saved. And it can be saved in time when God is the anchor in this relationship. And there will be times you may need to separate under certain conditions. There will be times where you need to allow space. There will also be times when it will be a hard struggle. But you must allow the Lord to guide you. The time is always in this present moment. To know that the Lord loves you. And he wants you to be part of his kingdom. The time is right now to anchor your soul on the spiritual journey that leads to everlasting life.